Hello everyone and welcome to Vulkan. Alright, so this is a product I've been thinking about making for a while now. Kinda did an earlier iteration of it in an earlier park, but I really kinda dedicated to finishing it after I finished Prospector's Reach, and I decided to make it a blueprint. And yeah, all of this is one blueprint. Might be pretty surprising. None of the trees in the surrounding, that's just gonna be for the cinematic shots and everything, but yeah, every single part of kind of in the artwork and all the plants and the trees in the central area, obviously all the decoration stuff is all part of a blueprint, and it's uh, under 8,000 pieces, which was very narrow to fit in. I'll tell you that. I had to sacrifice a few details, a little bit of realism just to make that possible, but I believe it's 7,999 pieces. Um, so yeah. Anyway, we'll dive kind of straight into it. So this was really inspired by the Incredible Hulk, obviously, because the layout, as you can see, is pretty similar. And I really love that element where it kind of absolutely launches out of the tunnel in the Incredible Hulk. So I figured I wanted to make something super similar, and so uh, I made it launch out of a volcano. I figured that'd be a really nice way to kind of integrate that really power that comes out of that first launch. And yeah, it's really nice looking. So yeah. And then obviously got a really nice layout. So it kind of goes around the jungle and stuff. As you can see right here. And yeah, custom supported, obviously. You know I can't do it without custom supports. So yeah, you got kind of your main path over here, your entrance plaza with your ride sign, your queue, kind of wind through the jungle. The station's in this indoor area right here. And then your exit path is right here, as you can see. You go up over this bridge, ride foot is right here, and you exit right next to Vulkan. So we'll go kind of into a first person view of this. So this is in theory where the entrance would be from like another land. So you kind of walk in, and you get these really nice views as you walk in between the elements. As you can see the ride go down over here and go right over you. So yeah, super nice views. You can see it go over the zero G roll over there. And yeah, just get this really nice view of the coaster coming out of the volcano and all the elements as it goes, like, right under you and goes over you with this cobra roll. You got some pretty basic kind of fences and stuff. I made like a really nice jungle fence for this area, like one that like kind of has like all the wood like kind of tied together with ropes and stuff. But then I realized that I kind of didn't have the pieces for that. I mean, blueprints, you really have to worry about piece limits. So yeah, I had to cut a lot of stuff, including the nice fences. But honestly, these are from the resort pack, I'm pretty sure, and they look really nice. Same with these lamps. I wanted to add a little bit extra to them, but same thing. I kind of didn't have pieces, so but they look pretty nice on their own. So it's fine. It all works out. So yep. And all this is also obviously custom supported. It kind of differs a little bit from real life models because obviously you've got your path going through right here, so I had to adjust a lot of the supports to kind of accommodate for that. But it works out really well. And obviously you don't need those peaks to be supported either. That's something you'll find in real life. Same thing with up here, the peak isn't supported. There should be supports right there. But I tried out like kind of making them. I felt like it really obstructed the view of the volcano. And I felt like I could sacrifice a little bit of realism here just to kind of have that view, that sight line, because it's really nice looking. So yeah. You'll see here, obviously none of the trees block the volcano. I really kind of prioritize sightlines in this area. But yeah, and then that's maybe where another entrance would be. Also, I do want to talk about these paths. This is the same thing I used in Prospector's Reach, where I used kind of like these flat rocks and made it so that and invisible paths. This time I kind of added these moss decals, adds a little bit more texture. And yeah, I do think it adds a lot. All right, moving on from this area. Which has some really nice foliage. Oh yeah, and then there's the on-ride photo camera right below the first drop or the first launcher. whatever you'd like to call this. But yeah, moving on. I kind of deliberately obstructed with this rocker here, the front entrance plaza, because you kind of get this really cool reveal moment where you walk, you see the ride sign, and you see this entrance plaza, and it's just like a really cool moment. So, you know, again, kind of sightline manipulation like that is super important in parks like this, because then you get this really sick moment where you walk into the entrance plaza. But yeah, here we are. Again, you get a really nice view of the volcano. I think this is probably my favorite view of the roller coaster launching out of the volcano because I think the rockwork shaping really looks great over here. But yeah, same thing. Got like a little lake over here and more views of the coaster as it flies over the main entrance. Kind of goes over there. We'll get more views of that later. But yep, there's like this little centerpiece here. This whole entrance plaza, I kind of just started with making it a big circle. But it felt really empty in the middle, so I figured I'd add like this cool little centerpiece right here, and I think it looks really nice. And then obviously the ride sign is kind of the big focus of this area, and I am super proud of this. I actually originally made this when I literally just downloaded the game because again I've had this kind of concept in my mind for a while. And yeah, so I did it by kind of sculpting with rock work. You can see these are all individual rocks, and whenever you zoom out, you kind of don't notice that, and you kind of just see the letters, and then you add like fire effects in the background, and it really silhouettes the like kind of silhouettes that fire, and it adds like a you can just make custom letters out of it, and it looks super nice. And yeah, so I think this turned out super good. I really like this. And also you got like a little some more atmospheric stuff over here too. Yeah, that's the ride sign. Here is where you exit out of the coaster. We'll get to that later, but obviously you got the no entry signs, making sure you don't go in there. And then here is the ride's main entrance. So you got obviously your ride safety sign that I really like to make. Again, this is kind of a modification of my previous ride safety signs that I modeled off of a real life ride safety sign. I think it was from Goliath at Six Flags Over Georgia. Although I could be wrong. It was just one of the images on the internet. And then like a nice little ride height sign. You have to be 54 inches tall. Can't be taller than 80 inches. And then the accessible entrance is located in the general queue. I'll show you that real quick right after I show you the front entrance. So yeah, this is the front entrance. I really took a lot of inspiration from Skull Island Reign of Kong at Universal because they kind of have like this really rickety like I don't know, really rickety wood effect that I think is kind of super cool. Really looks nice. And then obviously you got your priority queue, which kind of goes down into that cave. I won't bother showing you that because it's just kind of a cave that leads all the way to the station. But again, really nice views of the coaster going over you. And then your standard queue over here. Uh, it's a long wait time, I just realized. But yeah, 150 minutes. You got two entrances right here, and then kind of like these skulls on sticks, um, which kind of have a flat back, but that's only because they're part of the pirate theme. Um, and so they're not like really a full skull. I guess maybe it wouldn't be the greatest for Planet Coaster's PG rating, but still, they look really nice from the front. So yeah, and you walk in and you kind of this is where the accessible entrance is. There's like an elevator that would take you down to like a little path that leads into the station. And well actually it takes you down and there's like a door in the priority queue that is where this elevator would lead to. And the priority queue is completely flat to the station. So that's how we would do that. But yeah, and then you enter into the ruined village. So now's a great time to kind of explain the theme of this ride. That being that in the volcano there lives a kind of cursed spirit that kind of takes over the minds of like kind of these local people and kind of makes them make kind of effigies like this. And so you are the next one to be sacrificed to the volcano. So again, a lot of inspiration from other theme parks, like from Wicker Man, is kind of a big reference of the story. Skull Island, Reign of Kong. Also, something I forgot to mention is that this is a really similar ride concept to Volcano the Blast Coaster, the defunct coaster at King's Dominion. But yeah, really nice area over here. And so yeah, here's kind of hints of how these people's everyday lives have been disrupted, right? These people had like kind of planters where they would keep their plants and grow them, but then they're all on fire now. The volcanoes caused them to do kind of some really evil things. So yeah, a nice little hut over here. These are kind of some of my first tropical style buildings. I really leaned into obviously the resort pack with these. I do think they look quite nice though. You've got like a little campfire in there. And again, the skulls in the front of the buildings where they kind of are on fire. So again, kind of like these cursed effigies the volcano is causing. And yeah, a lot of really nice details in this area, which I like. So this is kind of the first switchback in the queue. You can walk over here. You got a really nice view of the coaster over here and the exit path, which is right there. You can see it went into it right there. But yeah, obviously a lot of really nice foliage too. Yep, moving on. Again, another building right here. And then you move up onto this these custom stairs. You walk up them, and then you go onto this rope bridge. I included a few of these in Prospector's Reach. I think this is a much nicer looking one though. I really put a lot of work into this one. Obviously, you got your ropes going across, kind of these rickety planks, and you get some really nice views of the ride on this right. So obviously you got right here where the coaster goes right underneath you, and then obviously the water and stuff, the lake, and obviously this nice view where you kind of get the where the coaster crosses paths right under the mid-course fairground right there, and obviously more views of the exit path right there. Same thing right here. So yeah, this is a really nice area. Again, more views of the exit path. Again, I do really love to make very vertical lands and vertical kind of areas because it just adds a lot. And it's kind of unorthodox for a lot of parks to make, but I think that whenever parks do it, like at Phantasialand, which I take a lot of reference from with their kind of design philosophy, um, I really do think it adds a lot because, you know, it really immerses you into the area. But yeah, really nice views right here. So you can continue on up here and down to the kind of this little cliffside section where you get nice views of the interlocking corkscrews, very Kumba-esque. Again, this is a B&M kind of sit-down launch coaster. So obviously I have to take a lot of references from those models. So the Incredible Hulk, Kumba. Oops, forgot. Looks like I forgot to make an invisible path right here. Oh well. And yeah, really nice views. This is just kind of a foliage area. Not much to talk about over here. But yep, interlocking corkscrews. These aren't profiled perfectly. It's really hard to make really well profiled corkscrews. But they turned out really well, so they're not bad. But yep, and then you kind of move along this like little bridge area over here, and this is where you walk into kind of the queue, the indoor queue and the station. So little cave area. Oops. Hi there, friend. And then you kind of move into this cave right here, with this giant skull rock. This is from the pirate set as well, kind of with the fire illuminated in it. This is a very spooky area, but I like it a lot. Again, you kind of have like these little ceiling bits right here. Like you got the roots coming down. More fire, kind of taking over the jungle foliage. You kind of are getting deeper into the core of the volcano over here. But yeah, this is a really nice area. I quite like it. And then moving on to the station, which is probably one of my favorite parts of the park. Although this is, I kind of started to run out of pieces over here, but I did probably one of my favorite special effects I've done. So you see that right here, and that is these really sick lava veins that like kind of flow along the rocks, and you can kind of see them moving and stuff. And yeah, super cool effect. I did this by kind of adding like these little ridges using the rock work, and then adding lots of fire effects, which point towards a certain direction, so you can kind of orient them so that they look. It looks like there's like kind of lava flowing in these like little lava veins. So yeah, super cool. And then this is your little station area, pretty basic. Kind of got all your row numbers and stuff. And then the big skull. Again, that spirit. And this is where the priority queue comes from. Again, it's pretty basic. It's just a cave like this with rockwork and stuff. Yep. This is where we'll POV this ride. So I'll see you right after that. Okay, and then we gotta move to the other side of the station. Alright, now that you've finished riding, that's a nice time to highlight this custom train that I did. It's kind of really intricate looking, at least in the front. You got obviously the skull in front. It's a really big motif of this whole area. Kind of using again those resort pieces. It's kind of meant to be like almost like the effigy, and then these are kind of all the wood that is happening. You got more bones and stuff, and so you're gonna be burnt along with this. But yeah, the ride goes up right there, and then here's the exit path. You exit back out right here. Again, that's where the queue was above you. The rope bridge right here, and this is probably one of my favorite views in the park, or of the land, or the blueprint, because you really get, it's like a really nice sight line right here where you kind of see the ride go through multiple elements. So yeah, super cool. We'll see if we can get the coaster to go through there. Oh, they go right there. So yeah, it passes over here, goes through that little turnaround right there, goes up into the mid-course brake run, and then obviously it goes to the interlocking corkscrews over there, and then passes over to right here. Nice point to point out these waterfalls again using Taggy's brilliant waterfall method, with the kind of the flowing water pieces. They look just super good. So yeah, nice little area. And then you walk through this cave. Let me go back into no UI mode. You go back in this cave again, walk up more custom stairs. And this is another area where you get really nice views because again, you can see the coaster go over here, around that turnaround, into the mid-course. You also get really nice views of the interlocking corkscrews over here too. So you'll see that right here. Oh my god, I love this land so much. I'm really proud of what I made here. And then you can see it go like right under you right here, and across the water into the brake run right there. So yeah, and then you cross this nice little bridge. Again, really nice views because you can see it go out through the roller coaster, over the vertical loop, and then into this zero-G roll, which passes right under you, up there. And again, more nice views that you get from over here. But yeah, super cool area over here. And this is where you get to your ride photos. So obviously, gotta include those. And this is just a pretty basic area. This building right here, which I really like. I really like the ropes and stuff. Kind of add a lot. You got your employee here who's gonna sell them. And then that is where you exit out right here. The exit path, and you're back in the entrance plaza. So yeah, super cool. I'm gonna go back out. Oh, I am trapped somewhere. There you go. I'm gonna go back out, explore a few more things. I'm gonna point out these custom trains a little bit more. This is the first ever custom trains I made in Plan Coaster, and I think they look really nice. Kind of have like a lot of really nice detail. It was kind of hard to match the shape of the coaster, but I think it turned out pretty well. And then I did add some realism in this project. You can't discount me fully. Obviously, I did all the custom supporting, I added footers and everything. Although you might notice that under some of the bigger plants, there's no footers. That's because I was running out of pieces. I was really near the piece limit, so I had to delete some rocks too. But yeah, another bit of realism is that I did add transfer track in here, this little area, into this little um, coaster building. Don't mind that there's rocks there. In theory, there would be a cave in there, but I'm not gonna worry about it too much. So yeah, and so yeah, that is Volcan, y'all. Super proud of this project. It's an idea I've had for a while, and I'm finally glad to be able to execute it. Also in a way that's super easy to integrate, considering it's a blueprint. Remember, this whole area is a blueprint, so that code will be down in the description of this video. Um, And yeah, I was super surprised I was able to fit all this into a blueprint, but uh, did have to sacrifice some details, but overall, it's a really nice area, really nice coaster. And so yeah, we'll move on to some cinematics and a nighttime POV. So I'll see you there. Thank you so much.